Ek Omkar. I'm going to touch upon one of the most favored topics today, defining leadership and understanding who is a true leader. Now, we all know that leaders are born, not made. But what if we look at leaders from a different perspective today? What if I say that leaders are the ones who are born with an awakened soul? That they are spiritually a little more elevated souls? That they are the ones who look for greater meaning in life and by extension in their work as well? Now, what if I ask you, why are leaders so loved by everyone? It's because they are filled with love and compassion, and they care, and yes, they are the heartful people. I'm nowhere using the word mindful here. Please note that you will keep reading about and hearing in all sorts of books and motivational training sessions. I am talking about the heartful people. And what do I mean when I use this term? I'm referring to individuals who don't just love others, but also love themselves. And very often, these are the people who listen to their heart most of the time, which means they may not necessarily go with certain set norms and expectations. In certain words, what I am saying is that they don't come across perhaps even as rulers, but rather as nurturers. Leaders who are nurturers. Yes, those are the leaders I am talking about. Now, each one of us has the potential to lead, but we need to introspect, interrogate, and investigate ourselves. You need to ask yourself, are you the inspirer or the aspirer? Do you want to simply lead or create leaders? Because the battlefield is open to all and the Kurukshetra is meant for all. But are you prepared to walk ahead with wisdom and truth? With honesty and a vision for the kutumba, and not just yourself, for the community, for everyone around you. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. If you see others around in your workspace as your family and you value relationships, then you are a leader. But let's go back now to where we started from. Spiritual, self-aware, a visionary, but perhaps equally spontaneous. Maybe both hot and cold, fierce yet collaborative, tough but generous. Basically both yin and yang, Purush and Prakriti. Let's conclude here with the word wholeness. The word reminds me actually of one of my lectures way back in 2014 in Varanasi, where I shared the stage with some wonderful spiritual masters, and I was addressing this amazing audience comprising spiritual scholars, academicians, and corporate delegates from across the world. And I still remember that day too, I ended my address with the same mantra. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now, this mantra is actually too deep to understand. But in our context today, let's understand just this much, that from Purna, which means wholeness or completeness, what is manifested is again Purna or wholeness. And even if you take away Purna from Purna, which means even if you were to deduct wholeness from wholeness, what remains is wholeness. We may take this mantra someday on a separate note to understand what it actually means in more detail, and we shall then perhaps discuss about Om, about non-duality, about the absolute. But for now, let's not deviate and let's finally conclude. So what are we ultimately arriving at? We are talking about walking that path of awareness, of that spiritual oneness, of being one with all, and of making that effort to walk towards that wholeness which we call the absolute, the awakened one, the divine, the Omkar, Ek Omkar.